Hey guys, it's Kevin again, and this is going to be my review for finally, after, so many weeks, Girl Meets World is finally back, and this can be my review for Girl Meets World, Season 1, Episode 8, Girl Meets Smackle. And, guys, I would have put this review up for you guys, earlier, but I actually did not watch this episode live because I was at a football game for my high school. We had the annual Knowles versus Hills football game, because I go to Knowles High School, and we were competing against Hills, which is our rival, and it was actually pretty fun. I had a good time, definitely. I definitely had a good time. We lost, but it was still a good time. It was a lot of fun, but, we lost, whatever. Yeah, it was a lot of fun though. I really had a great time. It was very fun to to be there, and it was a good experience. I always love going to the football games, even though I'm not really into that kind of thing. I still like going to them. It's just fun to do. Fun to support my school. Good way to support my school, and a good way to have conversations with people and see people at school. It's a good way to do that, definitely. So I really enjoyed that. But let's get to this episode of Girl Meets World. Now I was really looking forward to this episode, obviously because sorry guys, I got an itch on my back. Girl Meets World has not been back since mid-August. It left in the middle of August, and it didn't come back till now. And I was really looking forward to this episode, definitely. And did this episode pay off? Yes. This episode probably the best message of the entire show so far. Now, it was a cliched message. I'm not gonna say it wasn't, because it was cliched in my opinion. But it's something we hear all the time. But it was very, very well portrayed in this episode. Very well done. So let's get to this episode. Basically, we start off the episode with Cory giving a history lesson. All of ways, when he gives a history lesson, it relates to what we're getting into in the episode. He shows Riley this present. She's really excited to open the present, and she finds it's not what she expected. It's just like this book that she didn't want. It's not really what she wanted. And then he gives Lucas a so yeah, that was definitely very interesting. So then he gives Lucas a present. And the present is this get out of detention free card, and that right away attracts Maya. Sabrina Carpenter continues to be the best part of the show. She was absolutely hilarious in this episode. Definitely that was her best part. She takes the card, dances on Cory's desk, and then she finds out that it was all a trick for Maya to do exact, because he knew Maya would want the card. He knew Lucas would give it to her. I just thought that was definitely very funny. And basically what he's trying to show is, don't expect something that, don't just expect something from how something looks, and that makes sense, because if you get a present and it's not really something you want, it could be not exactly what you think it is, and I think that definitely was a great message. The message of this episode was basically beauty is skin deep. Now, the main plot of this episode had to do with Farkle. Farkle was in this, science, not science, but, what do you call it? What do you call it? I don't know what to call it. Debate team. He was on a debate team along with Lucas, and there's this girl who is his biggest rival ever. She's his biggest rival, Smackle. Now, Smackle is this very intelligent young girl, she's very intelligent. Everyone sort of just thinks of her as this nerdy type of girl, and, that's basically Smackle's character. I gotta say, the girl that played Smackle, very good acting. Just really, really good acting from her. I mean, everyone on the show really does a great job acting. And, yeah, now, Smackle actually seems that, Farkle does not like Smackle at all. He wants nothing to do with her. And, Farkle and Smackle, it seems like they despise each other. They don't really like each other at all. Until Riley sees Smackle hysterically crying. And she says to Maya, maybe I'm going to help her. Now, Maya tells her, no, don't do it. She's a nerd and everything. But Riley decides to help her. And basically we find out that Smackle actually has genuine feelings for Farkle. And Riley wants to go and help her. She wants to help her. She basically, help her gang feelings for Farkle. Now, Maya isn't 100% on board, but you knew Maya was going to help her because Maya's her best friend. But, yeah, so they decide to give Smackle a makeover, which I'll talk about in a second. Let's get to, what was the subplot? The subplot, again, like other episodes that connected with the main plot, we see Auggie come home, and Auggie is just a wreck. He's crying, and again, August Matoro still steals the show. Still is the best thing about the show. He is absolutely hilarious, and this kid seriously is just one of the best child actors on TV today. You see him like crying really bad, and it turns out that Ava, that young girl, you know, in the 3rd episode, has decided to break things off with him, and you know, she has broken things off with him, and Topanga is relieved, because Topanga did not want to deal with her, because if you remember in episode 3, she really gave Topanga a hard time. She really drove her up a wall. I don't blame Topanga for reacting the way she did, because if I had a kid like that, if my kid had a girl like that, you know, if I had a kid, which I'm probably not gonna for several years, obviously, but, you know, if I had a kid, you know, if I was married and I had a kid and everything, I would not put up with people like Ava. I would not put up with people like that. She's a bitch. She is just a rich bitch. She thinks she knows what she's doing. She's very controlling, and she's going to end up being Regina George. Okay? That's basically what Ava is. Ava is the 3-year-old version of Regina George. That's basically what she's going to be. So, you know, Augie's really upset and everything, and I thought that was very, very funny when that happened, and, the funniest line, Auggie is one of the funniest lines he's ever given the entire show. He says, I thought we were going to be together forever. I thought the two of us, you know, would love each other forever, and, Topanga says, where'd you get that idea? And he says, from Cory and Topanga, and Topanga gives such a great line here. She says, I wonder how many people were destroyed, you know, relationship was destroyed because of Cory and Topanga. And that was just hilarious, because it's like, all the time, the thing is, all the time, since Boy Meets World started, we've all picked on the fact that they just get married, they love each other, it's not exactly realistic, and that's not exactly what happens. And I love that Girl Meets World poked fun at that. That was so funny to watch, that they decided to poke fun at that. I never thought they'd do something like that. And the fact that they just poked fun of it was really funny, because it's like, they are all appealing to the fans, definitely. They care about the fans, they want to appeal to the fans, and the fact that they did that, I thought was definitely very funny. Definitely very well done scene, just really, really funny stuff there. So then we see Riley and Maya, and they're talking to, Smackle. Smackle, again, very intelligent individual. You know, she speaks in a very high vocabulary. And basically, what ends up happening there is they give her this makeover. She has her hair down. She doesn't have glasses. And she pretty much looks beautiful. She does. She looks beautiful. And she wants to change into the way Riley and Maya are, and she wants to be exactly like Riley or Maya, because she knows that Farkle likes Riley and Maya. You know, she knows that. So I really love what she says here. Basically, she says she has the words awesome and cool and oh my gosh, you know, she'll be like a lot more popular. So she tries to do that, and basically, she likes living this new life. She likes being a little bit more, you know, different. She likes being more, as she calls it, beautiful. And she tests this out by going to Lucas in that place that Topanga and Auggie visited, that dessert place. I don't remember what it was called, but, you know, that dessert place they visited, that bakery. Basically, Lucas is there, and she tests out on Lucas, and Lucas automatically flirts with her. He really likes her, and the thing that I liked about is Lucas was kind of a character that you could see is not all the way mature. You saw that in this episode. I like that they kind of gave Lucas a new layer, which is sort of that he isn't exactly mature yet. He doesn't know, like, the difference between, you know, what's on the inside and what's on the outside. He looked at her right away, and he saw what was on the inside, and there's something he says at the end of this episode that really made me attest to the fact, you know, attest to the theory that he is really not as mature as I thought he was. And I like that the show showed that, because a lot of people have talked about that Lucas is a very pointless character on the show, and he's only there to be Riley's love interest. Now, while that may be true, this episode proved that he definitely has a lot more to do than just that, and I thought that was really well done. So yeah, Smackle really likes the attention she's getting from Lucas, so she decides to just go about this. Turns out, though, she's actually using Maya and Riley, because of the fact that the next project is on beauty is not skin, you know, is skin deep. You know, that's what Farkle says to them. And basically they were used into this, and I love Maya's line. She's like, should I just punch her or whatever? And that was really funny in my opinion. And so basically they tell Smackle, alright, you can give up the act, you can just change yourself, but Smackle says she doesn't want to because she likes the way it is. And I like that. I like that it, you know, it seemed like Smackle was going to be a very, like, sort of bitchy character, but they didn't actually do that to her. They made her actually care for her, and I'm wondering if we're going to see Smackle again, because they had a lot of her in this episode. I don't know if she's just a one-time kind of character. I feel like as time goes on, they might give her more to do, definitely. I really feel like they're going to. The episode focused a lot on Farkle, who is right now a supporting character. I also feel he's going to be upgraded, definitely. I feel he's going to be upgraded to a main character. So basically, yeah, she doesn't want to change. She wants to stay, as she calls it, beautiful. That's how she wants to stay, and I don't blame her for doing that, but the thing is, she needs to be true to herself. She needs to be true to herself and be happy with who she really is. That's really the message of this episode, and the next part of the episode really sums that up very well. We see Smackle, well, not, actually, no, we don't see Smackle. We see Auggie and Farkle, and I love this scene because Farkle usually is a kind of character that's just very funny, gets a lot of funny lines, and this scene really, Cory, Fogelmontis, I think his name is, I think that's how you pronounce it, he did a great job in this episode. This was by far his best performance, in my opinion, because most of the show, we've seen him be sort of just like a character I can't take seriously, and finally, after this scene, I could kind of take Farkle seriously. I really could. I mean, they really made fun of him in this episode in the beginning, like the fact that he takes everything literally. That's hilarious. It really is. It's hilarious. I've always loved that he does that, but I like that they gave him sort of more layers in this episode. Every character in the show has a lot of layers, and they're really starting to come out very well. Also, you could definitely tell that Rowan Blanchard is very comfortable with Riley officially. She was very good in this episode. There was no sort of, I know a lot of people have complained about Rowan Blanchard and saying that, oh, she's just sort of prissy. In this episode, she didn't come across that way. Maya and Riley just seemed like they were trying to be good friends. That's really what was going on there. So yeah, I thought that was very well done in my opinion. I definitely really enjoyed that. So after this happens, what happens after this? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, so yeah, Farkle and Auggie, I was just talking about that. They have this very good conversation about how Auggie thought that, Ava would be the woman of his life, and Farkle tells him to, what did he just like about her, and he admits that the only thing he liked about her was that she was pretty, and Farkle says that, he's got to look beyond that, basically, and I thought that was a very good conversation, and the funniest scene is when Topanga walks in. She says a line that literally just made me, fanboy, because you guys know I'm a huge fan of Boy Meets World, so this scene really made me fanboy. If any of you are fans of Boy Meets World, you obviously fanboyed or fangirled, because you are just, this was just such a funny line. We see them talking about Cory, and Topanga says, oh my god, I married Feeney. That was awesome. That was completely awesome, because it's just like, Cory, if you think about it, has become Mr. Feeney. He is fulfilling his legacy. He is being like Mr. Feeney. Speaking of Mr. Feeney, we still have no confirmation that he's dead or not, so I'm wondering if we're actually going to see that. I was surprised they brought up Feeney in this episode, because they haven't brought him up since episode 1, so obviously they had to bring him up again. I'm glad they brought him up again, because we haven't known anything about what's been going on with him since episode 1, and I thought that was definitely, very well done. Thought that was definitely probably the funniest line of the episode. So then it's time for the debate tournament, and basically Smackle plans out, this whole speech and everything. And at first, we see Lucas give the speech about how beauty is skin deep, and it really just shows how he sort of thinks about those things. But then Smackle talks about how she, even though she looks beautiful, is the way she is. She is just a smart girl. She's smart, and you can't, be upset about her for that. You just can't be upset about her. And, she says, this is who I am. I like the way I look, but I like the way I look, but I am smart, and that's just who I am. And I thought that was just such a great line, what she said. The way it was done was so well done. And then we get to the ending. The ending was such a beautiful scene. We see all of them back at the bakery. Farkle's there, Riley's there, Lucas is there. And we find out that, Smackle has tricked Lucas because she wanted to see if the beauty is skin deep thing is actually true. She wanted to see if, if that actually happens to her. And I like that she did that. I thought that was good. And it was cute to see that, Farkle and, Smackle have genuine feelings for each other. I like seeing that, definitely. And there's a great line at the end where where Smackle says, Farkle, be honest. If Maya and Riley weren't pretty, would you still love them? And he says, they were pretty? I didn't even notice. And that's basically how the episode ended. And I thought that was just such a great ending. I really loved that about the ending. And I really loved this episode overall. It was not as good as the last episode. I still loved the last episode more, but this episode was definitely very well done. I like that we saw a little bit more of Farkle's character. I like that Lucas now has a couple more layers. You know, he's not exactly all the way mature yet. There are some things he definitely still needs to learn about the world, and I like that they showed that in this episode. He still has a lot to learn. The Mr. Feeney references were hilarious. I love that they made fun of Cory and Topanga's relationships. That's just something that, they're still one of my top favorite TV couples of all time, but seriously, it was hilarious to watch. Auggie, as usual, was hilarious. So funny in this episode. And, yeah, overall, this episode was great. I really loved it. And again, I love the whole message of beauty is only skin, you know, beauty is not only skin deep, you know. Because I'm going to be honest, when I see a girl in school, the first thing I think is, oh, she's hot. That's the first thing I think of. I'm sure that's what many of us think of. But I also think of what's on the inside of them. Most times when I first see them, I think of, oh, they're hot or whatever. Like, you know, if there's a girl I like, that's what I think of. Sometimes, you know, most times I do think about what's on the inside of how they are as a person. Because if I, you know, want to be friends with someone, they have to be a very specific type of person. They have to be someone who is not rude, someone who, you know, is just a nice person, a genuinely nice person. And someone like, say, Riley. Riley, you know, that's sort of the person that I'm trying to, that's kind of what I'm trying to get at here, is that someone like Riley would be considered a friend of mine, definitely. I would definitely consider that. And this episode showed that very well, that really beauty is only skin deep. It's really, what that's trying to show is that beauty is just a factor of what we see. It's really what matters on the inside. You could have this beautiful girl. For example, take Regina George from Mean Girls. I know, this is a terrible example, but think about it. She is a beautiful girl. Extremely hot. Extremely hot. Like, seriously, extremely hot. Definitely extremely hot. But she's a bitch. Total bitch. That is a total bitch. That is a perfect example of it. Think of someone like, say, Miley Cyrus. Used to be a beautiful girl. Used to be. She's not so beautiful anymore, and, you know, something like that. Take a look at some of these people that are beautiful. Are they just beautiful on the inside and the outside? Because if I say someone's beautiful, they have to be beautiful on the inside and at the outside. If you're beautiful on the inside, it means you're a genuinely nice person. You know, you're just a positive person, and that's sort of the person that I think is classified as beautiful, really. And that's really what this episode was trying to get at, and I thought they showed that very, very well. Next week's episode is going to be very funny. It reminds me very much of the episode where on Boy Meets World, they went back in time to the 1960s. I think they did an episode similar to this. It was not good. I did not like that episode. I did not like that episode at all. I didn't like the one in the 1930s either when they did that, so I'm not really looking forward to this one. I think it'd be good, but I really feel it's not going to be that good. From the promo, it does not look that good. Whenever Boy Meets World did those black and white type of episodes, they never worked. The Season 7 one, as time goes by, that was kind of funny, but the one in Season 3, I did not like. I did not find that one funny at all, and I don't know if this one's really gonna work. I'll have to see what I think of that. But overall, I love this episode, and I'll see you guys in my next video, which will be my review for tonight's episode of The Nick, which I'm going to watch as soon as I can. So that's going to be an extra review. So I'll see you guys for that. And I'll probably be up tonight. I want to watch it tonight. And I'll see you guys for next review. Okay, bye.